Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society in general. I am Father George Ehusani, and I have with me in the studio once again our friend from Misio Aachen, Dominic Omolo, a Kenyan, but he has worked for many years in Europe, and he has a lot of experience with humanitarian work, having worked with the United Nations for up to 18 years, right?
18 years, yes.
18 years with the United Nations. He is right now working with Misio Aachen, which is the biggest agency of the church that supports many projects in Africa, in Asia, in Latin America. And they do a lot of work with in collaboration with the Vatican.
Yes, it's an agency of the Holy See.
It's an agency of the Holy See. Yeah. Good. Thank you for coming. And he's in Nigeria to visit a number of dioceses, religious congregations that have relationship with Misio, that have ongoing projects or recently concluded projects with Misio. Dominic, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Father George.
In this segment, I would like us to discuss about the Great Lakes region. The Great Lakes region is the region around Lake Victoria, isn't it? Oh.
The Great Lakes, yeah, there are several lakes in that region.
Okay, there are several lakes.
Yes.
What are they? We have
Lake Victoria.
Yes.
Though Lake Victoria strictly is not part of the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes there are mostly like Lake Kyoga, Lake Kivu, Lake Tanganyika.
Lake Tanganyika, yes.
Yes, Lake Tanganyika, Lake Kivu, Lake Kyoga, Lake Albert in the northern part of there are so many of those small
in
lakes.
The region, okay, maybe our people will understand when they hear the countries. What are the countries around that you call the Great Lakes region? What are the countries?
Yes, the countries that are among the countries considered to be in the Great Lakes region include Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo,
DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, yes.
Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, and
Tanzania.
To a large, yes, Tanzania to some extent because of Lake Tanganyika.
Okay.
Yes, it's considered to be part of the Great Lakes region.
This Great Lakes region is today in crisis. And with your experience with humanitarian work, you are also from Kenya, not far away from there, but then with your experience with humanitarian work and the United Nations and so on and so forth, you are likely to have some idea of why there is so much crisis now. I don't understand. I hear of war in the eastern part of
DRC,
the Democratic Republic of Congo. I even hear of M23. I hear of Rwandan forces. I hear of involvement of Burundi. I hear of involvement of Uganda. I hear of and I know that many Nigerians in this country, we don't understand what's going on. Is there a war? What kind of war that is going on? I even heard recently that our former president, President Obasanjo, is one of those international leaders that have been appointed to go there for some kind of reconciliation. Reconciliation between who and who? Reconciliation between what force and what force? What is the basis of this war? What is the origin? Has it been a long time? Please enlighten us.
Yes, as you said, I have had many years of experience working with the United Nations for 18 years. I think before I say my experience or my opinion or my view on the Great Lakes region, it's important to highlight that when I started working with the United Nations, my first assignment from headquarters in Rome was in Sudan. After just the signing of the Comprehensive Peace Agreement in 2005, I was sent to Sudan in 2006, and I worked there until 2007, covering both North Sudan and South Sudan.
By 2005, 2006, it was just Sudan. The country had not split into two.
They had not split into two, but they had signed the CPA, the Comprehensive Peace Agreement, which was supposed to usher in the referendum, whereby later on, within the CPA, it was said that there will be referendum in South Sudan after, I think, 10 years. where the people will choose whether they want to remain as one Sudan or they want to go separate way. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you were there at 2005 to 2007. Sudan had been in crisis for many years.
For many years. We remember the Operation Lifeline in Sudan, whereby the international community was shipping assistance to South Sudan, and the Arab government in the north was attacking villages, attacking all ways of assisting the people to deny them assistance. So it was a long thing. They had 25 years because they had an agreement before in 60s, and it was not solved. Then it continued for another 25 years before now the CPA was
we lost some of the leaders, Garange, all kinds of...
yes, when I arrived in Sudan, the same week, Garang was killed.
Garang was killed, yes.
Yes, I remember I was still staying in an hotel in Khartoum while looking for a house to live in. And when I was staying in the hotel, then the news came that the helicopter, there's an helicopter crash and Garang has died.
And Garang was the leader of the
South Sudan, yes, interim leader in a way, or the popular leader. So there was a lot of mutiny and a lot of fighting. The crisis, people came out, yes. So I remember looking out, hearing gunshots. I look out of the window, I see people running. When I hear the gunshots, I come down. When I look again, the person I saw running is already lying in a pool of blood.
He's dead.
He's dead, yes. But I think a lot more of this crisis I saw in Afghanistan for the 3 years I worked there.
Good. So you apart from Sudan, which was a major crisis at that time, you were sent to difficult areas.
Yes.
You went to Afghanistan.
Actually, I chose to work in these difficult areas. So from Sudan, I worked a bit back in Rome, the headquarters of Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. Then 2014, I joined the World Food Program, which is the humanitarian arm of the UN. Still, part of it is owned by FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, and I was sent to Afghanistan. So I spent 3 years in Afghanistan. I left there in 2017. After that, I went to Liberia.
Oh.
Yes.
But the time you went to Liberia is not hot. Liberia is not hot.
Yes, the UN mission was concluding.
Yes.
The UN mission was concluding and it was being wrapped up, but there was still tension in the country, and the election that had just been done was continuing well though, but there was still...
That was now to take over from the Madam.
Yes, the Madam was completing.
Yes.
And George Weah was coming in at that time. Then after 1.5 years, I was sent to Sierra Leone. So
to the neighboring country?
To the neighboring country. Actually, I started working for Sierra Leone because my work was to draft food security strategy for the government until 2030. So I started working for Sierra Leone already when still in Liberia.
I see.
Then I left that part of the world in 2019 and I was moved to DRC Congo.
You went to DRC Congo?
Yes.
They felt that you are the best person to go to DRC Congo.
Yes, DRC Congo, when I was sent there, I was in Kinshasa and I told them that I am tired of writing policies. Now I want to implement. And I was told, if you want to implement, we send you as the head of program in Southern Kivu, based in Bukavu. So after 1 year, I went to Bukavu and I stayed in Bukavu for 2.5 years until we had a sad experience whereby the Italian ambassador was killed after he had just spent his last
Italian ambassador in the DRC?
In DRC, yes. He came to visit me, and after he had visited my office, I took him around. Actually, I picked him from Goma on a Thursday. So Friday we were with him within my territory. On Saturday we drove now to Bukavu because he had a meeting with the Italian community there. And on Sunday I picked him again from the hotel and put him on a boat to go back to Goma. And in Goma he had wanted to go and visit a project in North Kivu which Italian government was planning to fund. He had actually insisted that I go with him, but I couldn't travel because every Monday we had a Zoom meeting with all the heads of sub-offices in DRC Congo. with the main team in Kinshasa. So I could not leave my station. So for that case, I remained behind. And in the same Monday now, as soon as we started the Zoom meeting, after about 10 minutes, the meeting was interrupted
there was
from
a news
Kinshasa.
flash.
Yes. And we had not received the information yet. But within few minutes, we got the information that he had just died. So I was among the last people that he spent his time with. Yes, and I still have the only photographs that are there for his last 3 days of his life, because they took, the people who abducted them took everything, including phones. So DRC and Bukavu and Eastern DRC is an area which I familiarized myself for the last 3 years.
So you are talking of 2019? Or?
This is now 2021, 2020, 2021, 2022.
I am aware that the crisis in that part of Congo has been on for many years. Right from the time of, what is that, Kabila?
Yes.
The father, the first Kabila before the son Kabila.
Laurent Kabila.
Good.
Yes, the father of Joseph Kabila.
Yes.
But it was actually the crisis in this part of the world has been going on since 60s.
Since the 60s?
Yes, since the 60s. So since the 60s, we have the group from Rwanda called the Banyamulenge that went to southern Kivu to an highland area and occupied this island area.
So a group from Rwanda,
yes,
kind of took a territory in the Congo.
Yes, they took a part of the territory, they
and
migrated. Yes. What is happening is that over the years, these are pastoralists like the Fulani that you have in Nigeria. So
Yes.
they move with their cattle. They move with their cattle long distances, and they cross because the boundaries, they are loose boundaries.
Yes.
If you go
You don't
to
have
that
the
part.
Trump kind of wall.
Yeah, we don't have a wall. So they move their cattle depending on when it is dry season this side and rainy season on the other side, and so on. So this group of Rwandese decided to settle in this highland area. They are called Banyamulenge. And with the time, Mobutu gave them Congolese nationality, recognized them as a...
Mobutu welcomed them.
Yes, recognized them after much pressure. When now the Rwanda genocide took place, you know that the Hutus that did the genocide, killing the Tutsis, and the Tutsis now came into power.
Yes.
During this time also, Rwanda this is not the first time actually that Rwandese or Rwanda allied forces are occupying these same areas. When I was in Bukavu, I was shown houses which were Rwandese when they occupied there, how they tortured the people there, how life was during the
Tortured the locals?
The locals, killed very many of them, tortured them and occupied.
They are the migrants. They are the people who came in from another country.
Now this is not the group. This group is settled. Now this is Rwandese army coming in like what is happening now. So there are people coming from Rwanda as a military might. They drive away the Congolese army and they occupy the town of Bukavu. You should also know that Bukavu borders Rwanda.
Okay.
Yes, it's very... there's just a distance of maybe 100 meters between the last house in Rwanda.
The last house in Rwanda and the first house in the Congo.
In Congo, yes. So it is quite... it's a very fluid kind of border.
There's no proper border.
There's no proper border, yes. Yeah. So this is not the first time that the Rwandese troops have occupied.
So one of the forces in this ongoing crisis in the Great Lakes region is Rwandan army.
Rwanda army occupying eastern Congo.
Okay.
Yes.
Rwandan army occupying eastern Congo. Now tell me about the involvement of Burundi in this one.
Yes, the involvement of Burundi is that Rwanda is seen as a country or as a big brother that is trying to oppress the other brothers.
That is how Burundi sees it.
Yes, that is why Burundi has aligned with the DRC to stop the Rwandese aggression.
Wait a minute. Let me understand it. Burundi and Rwanda are Hutus and Tutsis.
Yes, they are the same tribe, same people.
Good,
yes,
very interesting.
They are same people.
So Burundi and Rwanda, even though the colonialists made them two countries, they are really the same people.
They are the same people. What is compounding the situation is that in Rwanda right now, the Tutsis are in, okay, first of all, in both countries, the majority are Hutus. Yeah?
Majority are Hutus.
Yes,
but the
Tutsis
people in
are
power
majority.
in Rwanda today are Tutsis, the
yes.
minority Tutsis
yes.
that came back with Kagame and took over power
from the Hutus. And this, when they came to take over power from the Hutus ran away to the northern Kivu, part of Congo.
The Hutus, some of who are accused of having been guilty of genocide,
yes,
they escaped to Congo.
To Congo, yes. So when they escaped to Congo, to the northern Kivu, the northern part, yeah. You remember in the southern Kivu already we have the Banyamulenge who migrated in 60s.
Good.
In the northern part now, in 90s, yeah. When this genocide is taking place, we have a new influx.
So both north and south of Kivu have Rwandan people.
Yes.
This time, some were the not civilians, but some of them were accused of genocide. They moved
to the northern part.
To the northern part.
Yes, and that is the reason which Kagame now is giving to attack, because he says those people there, they formed an army and they have intention to return to power, and they are still attacking Rwanda from that part of Congo.
So Kagame is suspecting or accusing them of planning to attack Rwanda again.
And still attacking, they are planning to take over power again, but by doing that they have been waging war or attacks in Rwanda.
But is that an allegation, or is there some truth to that?
That is to be proven.
Okay.
Yes, that is to be proven.
That's the allegation.
Those are allegations, or that is the justification that Rwanda has given for their involvement in Eastern DRC.
And then you now mention something that is interesting, that their own brothers and sisters in Burundi see Rwanda as a big brother that is oppressive. So they now join forces with the attackers from Congo.
Yes. So when Congo came under attack, Burundi offered to give their military to support Congo and repulse the Rwandese military. Because Rwanda also in this region, yes, in eastern, in the Kivus, we call them the Kivu, the two Kivus. In the two Kivus, we should also bear in mind that there are other armed groups already. In southern Kivu, we have had Mai Mai rebels for a long time.
Yes. Mai Mai rebels?
Yes, they are called Mai Mai rebels. They are there for a long time. We have also seen most of them were used actually against the Banyamulenge, because there was again tension between the local or indigenous Congolese and these Rwandans who have become Congolese. So there have been many groups, armed groups in this region. So M23.
Good, that's another name, M23.
Yes, now that is the latest in market. This is the latest.
M23, who are they? Where did they drop from?
So M23 is composed mainly by the Tutsi groups who are living in eastern DRC, in northern Kivu. So their problem has been always that they wanted also recognition, to be recognized by the government in Kinshasa as Congolese.
They don't want to return to Rwanda.
No, they have no intention to return to Rwanda, so they say. They say they are Congolese, they should be recognized as Congolese, they should be given a Congolese passport, and they should be given, they should be able to join the Congolese army. This is another big problem that we have there. You mentioned already Loro Kabila.
Yes.
This is the first time that a rebel group came from eastern DRC and marched on to Kinshasa and overthrew the government of Mobutu Sese Seko. Yes. How was he able to do that? Laurent Kabila, actually, because he lived in exile a lot of time in Tanzania, actually, they say that the present president, the son who was the president was born actually not in DRC, but in Tanzania. So what he did was he got help from Rwanda. So when he got help from Rwanda, he marched on to Kinshasa and they integrated in the Congolese army. So we had a new army that was formed by loyalists of Laurent Kabila, and many of them are Rwandese origin. When I was in Kinshasa, I was able to see them. They talk Kiswahili, and in Kinshasa, you know, the lingua franca is Lingala.
Okay.
But in the military, they still speak Swahili because they came from the east. So there has been a lot of Rwandese influence in the state machinery of DRC, and maybe it is one of the Achilles heels for the country's military inability to withstand
because
the Rwandese.
Right within them,
the enemy is right within them. Yes.
Wow, I mean, this is quite some enlightenment. I hear of M23, then you call this group Kabila's group.
Majimai, yes.
And then the ones you had called, the ones that first settled in Banyamulenge,
yes.
and so on and so forth. So, what do you think can be done on the long term to solve this problem?
I think the long-term solution to the problem in eastern DRC and in the Great Lakes region as such is to see what is causing the problem. And the main cause of the problem that is there has been said many times, that it is the fight for the natural resources.
What kind of resources do we have in the Kivu region?
70% of cobalt, global cobalt production or sources comes from this region.
70% of cobalt?
Globally. A big percent of coltan.
Coltan.
That is used for mobile phones. Cobalt is also used for batteries, electric car batteries. So
70% of what we need for all these batteries we are using for electric cars, all these batteries for solar energy,
comes from this
coming from this region.
These two provinces.
Wow.
Yeah. And in these two provinces also we have huge deposits of gold. We have huge deposits of diamond. We have huge deposits of other mineral resources.
So this is a resource war.
It is a war for resources, camouflaged with other reasons that have been given.
Wow. If we have all these huge resources, and the tendency has been across the world that countries, societies, regions that have such huge resources are in trouble. So it means the wars, the conflicts are proxy wars, more or less.
They are proxy wars, as has been indicated by media. International media have pointed accusing fingers that the war there is being waged in order to have access to these resources, and these resources are channeled through Rwanda to international or international mineral companies. If you see that Rwanda is exporting cobalt, Rwanda exports is among the global leaders now in gold exportation.
And it doesn't have gold.
But they don't have gold. If you ask Rwanda, can you show us where you are mining the gold?
Where is your gold mine?
Or where you are mining coltan from?
We know of South Africa. We know of Congo. Where is your own?
Where do you mine this coltan from? They cannot show. And how comes they are exporting them? They are a leading global exporter now.
Now, the people who Rwanda that benefits from it, and the people who actually are the global merchants of this, you being a moral person, is that not blood money? Does that not amount to blood money? When you think of the number of people who are dying in the North and South Kivu area, is that not blood money?
It is the same as that movie that we watched called Blood Diamond for Sierra Leone. Yes. It is the same scenario. Having lived in these Kivus, it is one of the most difficult places where I have lived in terms of well-being, human well-being. Yeah, they lack basic health. The food security is very poor. The roads are one of the worst I've seen. The status of roads. I could spend hours to do a distance. When I was in South Kivu, I'm going to a distance of 150 kilometers. I spend 9 hours. Sometimes you'd spend more because you go on the road, you find trucks that have been blocked on the road for 1 week, and you are forced to sleep.
Stuck there.
Yeah, you are stuck there. You spend the night there. Yeah. They have big problems with health, and as you know, we have a big health hospital there called Panzi Hospital. The founder was awarded Nobel Peace Prize because he's offering great services where there is in the middle of nothingness. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that the other day.
Yes. So when you look at how people live, these people also in Goma have been experiencing a volcanic eruption of Nyiragongo, which is a big volcanic mountain near Goma. It happened when I was there again few weeks before I left. It displaces many people, and many people are forced to flee, and some dies. So
as you are speaking about the North and South Kivu in this eastern part of the Congo and all this crisis on account of mineral resources, I am thinking of Nigeria, you know. I'm thinking of Nigeria and the resources in the northeastern part of Nigeria and the resources in the northwest part. I mean, we are told that the amount of gold deposit in the Zamfara state, you know, I'm told that the amount of gold deposit, and that is one of the big areas of banditry today. We are told that helicopters arrive at night and drop weapons, pick gold. So this thing about blood money, blood diamond, blood gold, blood cobalt, it is real that a lot of crisis is caused in places with a lot of resources, and some people are smiling to the bank over it.
Yeah, that's true. When in Kenya some years ago it was discovered that we have oil deposits, many people said, we have had peace.
Please don't bring
this. If it is there, leave it alone.
Leave the oil on the ground.
Yes, because we knew that if it is true that we have big deposits, then we will, peace that we have had
that's problem coming.
Is going to be
what
lost.
A pity, what a pity. What a pity that resource wealth that is supposed to make country advance, people are now saying, please don't tell us about oil deposit because we don't want to be like Nigeria. We don't want to be like whatever. This
like
is
South Sudan also.
Oh,
South Sudan, you see, yeah.
Well, on this note, we'll bring this program to an end. It has been very enlightening, Dominic. I mean, your experience and your knowledge of the Great Lakes region, your experience and knowledge of Rwanda, of the Congo, of Burundi, and the various forces that you have named, that have, including the latest one, M23, the various waves of migration from Rwanda towards the Congo and so on, and what the crisis that we are in today. Thank you so much for this enlightenment, and we pray that African leaders will take the bull by the horn, do what they need to do so that Africa will have peace, and that African leaders will do what they need to do to use the resources of Africa, not just allow raw materials will be taken out. Force people to come and set up industries in the countries that have these resources so as to raise the quality of life. And I pray that as you work these days, you are no longer working in crisis areas. You are now working in the church setting, and so it's more peaceful. We are not going to send you to Afghanistan tomorrow. Yeah. So thank you, and as you return to Germany tomorrow and soon to travel to Kenya, may the Lord protect you and your family members.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Dominic.
much,
And I hope to see you in a couple of weeks in Germany.
God willing.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.